What is food?
It's cat food.
It's really nice food.
Way better.
Take it from me.
That is unpopular.
That is slander. That is slander.
Yes.
You're literally
should
slandering
sue
a whole tribe of people.
I feel as if I'm being attacked, and it's not
Rightfully
fair,
so.
but according to me, it's my opinion. What is yours, Mawia?
Do you really have an unpopular food opinion? Maybe don't let anyone tell you you can't eat anything. I'm lactose intolerant, but that does not stop me from drinking milk. Then me and the toilet. Yeah.
And the toilet, you are a DJ.
Yeah, I mean, it's hazard
To your
of
mind.
loving milk.
To your mind. To your mind.
I believe all of you have eaten githeri once in a life.
Me love
Why?
baby.
I feel like githeri should be food for prisoners only. High schoolers or anyone at home should be.
Me, I'm a prisoner then.
I don't
Cuff
like
me and take me to
githeri
prison.
is the S word.
The S word.
Yeah, it's shit.
It's that word. And finally,
I don't have any unpopular opinions with regards to food.
you eat anything.
I
and
eat
everything.
anything. I eat
Foodie.
everything.
You're a foodie.
I guess you could say that.
Light food is
But someone told me foodie is another word for mlafi. Okay, let's introduce ourselves. Hi everyone, my name is Tinega Okari and you might know me as the host for this show. I am joined today by 3 other hosts who are going to introduce themselves. The first one is none other than Mr. Nani, who will introduce himself.
They call me the man of controversy. Because my name
Who is they?
they.
Who is they?
Chill.
Let him introduce
They call me
himself.
the man of controversies because I am a man who questions everything. My name is Peter Arum. I'm glad to be part of this group right now.
Karibu sana, Peter Arum. The next one is very popular among the listeners. She will introduce herself.
Hi everyone and welcome back to another episode. Due to popular demand, I am back.
Small podcast.
You're welcome.
My name is Mawia Faith, a Toastmasters member and a very devoted podcaster. Is that a thing?
Hey,
Yes, it is.
a very
Yes, yes, thank you.
And the other one is the man with the voice, the person who seated on my
Oh,
right.
my church.
Too much.
You will take it away. I won't say anything.
My name is Raymond Wameyo. And I'm glad to be back.
We are
That's
glad
all I
to
have to say.
have you back. So today we are going to be talking about unpopular opinions, controversies, and how to articulate them in the modern world in a way that does not hurt or contravene other people's emotions or views. Are we together about that?
I guess
Are you
so.
ready?
Yes.
I assume all of you are on Twitter.
Yes, I am.
Are you active on Twitter?
Yes, I am.
Are you active, Mawia, on
Very
Twitter?
passive viewer.
You're not part of the KOT.
Like,
more.
view, laugh at memes, keep going.
No problematic.
Me
No
and
problematic
KOT,
tweets,
I
Tweets or
can't.
anything.
I
KOT
can't.
will.
We're in the same boat. I don't do it.
You don't do Twitter. So you don't know about controversy that much.
I do know a lot about controversy.
I just
Indeed,
don't
like-
actively
You like it
participate.
on a personal level.
but-
On a personal
Yeah,
level.
personal level.
I like to
this
feel.
guy. I like this guy.
Do you know what being cancelled is?
Yes, I do.
Online. Being cancelled basically is when you tweet something that is problematic or something that people do not agree on, and you have a job or you're a celebrity, people gang up against you, and they make sure that you lose your source of revenue, you lose your job, and you lose your platform.
Simply because I have a different opinion.
A differing opinion.
Yes.
And
Your
then,
opinion rubs other people
The wrong
way.
And they're
And-
enough to sort of like affect their mob mentality almost, yeah. Yeah. And there's nothing you can really do to protect yourself, and you almost have to give in to their opinion in order to
Particularly if you are
Stay
if you're a person who has influence or a person who has a platform like a celebrity, your opinions affect people whether you like it or not.
But it's a free world.
It's a free to some
but then there's that
extent.
reason where people follow you. You have a fan base. So if you say, go out there and hit people with stones, the people are like really staunch followers. That is the reasoning they give.
In Twitter,
when
we call
you say,
them-
go do this, they will go do that, and then now you've incited people to do stuff. To some extent, there's some truth, but then I still feel they're limiting your freedom of expression, because at the end of the day, you're human. You have your own opinions. And just because you have like 100,000 followers, does not really mean they should give me that freedom.
Yeah, I
Because
get
I know
you.
I can say anything right now. I mean, I only have to.
It took is a lot. Yeah, about 50 on Insta. But to some extent, do you have a celebrity who can tell you to do something and you actually go out and do it?
I don't.
Do you follow someone to that extent?
I follow people who've done controversial things.
Example?
So I watch a lot of football, yeah. I'm a United fan.
Yay!
And
Yeah!
I think we all know about, or most of us know about Ryan Giggs, the guy who slept with his brother's wife for 13 or so years. Yeah.
But that is that controversial? Is that unpopular?
Sleeping with your brother's wife is actually a
What?
Which country? Which one?
But who-
Is it okay?
Who does that harm apart from the brother and his
It
wife?
harms
The followers.
I think the fans.
And the image. Because it doesn't look nice. You slept with your brother. Where's your loyalty? Where's your loyalty?
You're trash. I don't think I have a celebrity who can affect me that much.
I wouldn't say he'd affect me. I'm just saying, like, I do follow people. I have followed people that have done controversial things.
I
But
get
that
you.
doesn't necessarily mean that I have to engage in that because I also have a mind of my own. So
There's this thing they call separating the art from the artist. Do you love Giggs because of his football or because of his action outside the
I
field?
wouldn't say I love Giggs anymore. Just precisely because I understand what he did was messed up. Yeah. So if we take the R. Kelly situation,
R. Kelly, perfect example, yeah.
there is no separation between art and
Do you know what R. Kelly did?
No, what did you do? No?
You serious?
He...
Legit.
Oh my god, you're not on Twitter.
Legit. Do not judge, please.
R. Kelly was accused and found guilty of child abuse, molestation,
yeah,
actually.
yeah.
Multiple counts. He's actually in prison right now. He was sentenced 2 weeks ago.
The same thing happened to Benjamin Mendy.
Oh,
Man City.
no.
Mendy, oh me, not Mendy from Chelsea.
No.
I'm a Chelsea fan.
Yeah, same thing happened. Yeah. He's awaiting trial.
He's awaiting trial.
as we speak. Yeah.
That's heavy.
I think it just so happens that I guess we are people. We are a group of people who are a bit more independent in our thinking. You know, as he said.
I just recalled Amerix.
Amerix.
As the only female of this
Before we
podcast.
continue, let us vote on Amerix. Who is for Amerix in this podcast? Who is for?
Who's for?
I don't think there is.
Do you hear the silence?
Thank you.
Amerix is trash according to the J Quat Government Club podcast. You had it here first. What did
The
Amerix
thing
do?
I see on people, like I have very ardent followers of Amerix on my WhatsApp feed, and there are days I'm actually like so angry at this guy because what are you telling people? There was actually, I don't think it was Amerix, but another someone who's following in on its footsteps was saying if a lady doesn't give it up to you or she's holding it out for a while, you should dump her because she's playing games or something like that.
Amerix
That
said
was
that.
really offensive. No,
To
someone
some
else.
extent, the things he says that I agree with.
Yeah. But then there are some that on that
And
other
like-
end of the spectrum.
Like,
But there is no room for nuance when it comes to such opinions. If someone says he can do that, it disqualifies every other thing,
I don't
good thing that
not
he says.
necessarily. Not
I think-
necessarily.
You can't serve two masters.
No,
There's room for
sorry.
you to be lukewarm.
There's no lukewarmity or
It's for the same
lukewarmness.
reason. It's for the same reason. I generally believe that the earth is flat.
The artist,
But I
the
still-
artist, rewind.
I'm saying it's for the same reason I believe that the earth is flat.
And you're a scientist,
But
by the
then
way.
I have to do my geography exams and argue that there are 8 planets. I have to, but then that's not what I actually believe in.
But is
How
the earth
is the
flat?
earth flat?
Mawia, is the earth flat?
My geography taught me otherwise, and for some reason I bought that. Now you're telling me the earth is flat.
Me, I can't argue about that because I don't have the scope. I've never gone to space. I've never observed the earth from an outside.
Then why do we have pictures of the earth being spherical?
I'm
If
not the
it's
one who
flat?
took. If it's flat,
Have you seen the Matrix?
the Matrix, yeah, I saw it.
All of
The one where they were dodging bullets like.
But you saw it on TV.
Yeah.
What's the difference between that and what they show you on NASA? You're still seeing it on the television, true?
To some point, yes.
Exactly, that's my point. Anyway, let me go back to the origin of all these things, okay? But the big question is, why would they tell us that the earth is flat and not round? True. So if the earth is flat, it means that there is an edge. kuna mali ukifika all imeisha.
It's either there's an edge or it's infinite. Yeah,
there's nothingness past this point. And if you do research, well, there's something called the Antarctica Treaty, where all governments signed and agreed that past here there's no going. All roads, all means of transport.
In the Antarctica, I had something like that a while back.
Ideally, what I believe is Antarctica is not actually a continent. It's at the edge of the world. It's the ice that keeps the waters in place.
So it surrounds the flat Earth.
Exactly. That's
it's not.
It's not
the bottom of the sphere. I'm not buying it. I'm just wishing.
We have to question.
You have to understand.
Yes.
Yeah.
But question to what extent?
And okay, let me question then the Earth being round. Who said the Earth is round? Who told you the Earth is round?
Michelangelo or someone.
There's a guy called
Newton.
There's a guy called Copernicus.
Copernicus. Yeah.
He invented the globe as you know it. He invented. You know what invention means? The guy sat and decided on Jama Earth is round. He came up with things called.
On our show.
Yeah. You gave my guy the Earth is round.
He came up with things called latitudes and longitudes. How do you learn those things? They're imaginary lines.
Yeah,
You're told gravity is mass times acceleration. These are numbers that people came up with. It's for the same reason.
But math doesn't lie.
It does. Let me tell you why.
Math is objective.
Yes, it is. But we made maths for ourselves. Man created one, so that when he adds 1 plus 1, it gives 2.
2 whole things.
We use our same analogies. You see, we use our own imaginations to verify our own imaginations. How? We're told the Earth is flat and there's gravity. We're given a gravitational constant, a number. Yes, it was calculated using maths that was invented by man. So man uses his own ideas to help himself.
Arum, I think if we speak about that topic, I'm going to.
It reminds me of this name.
But you are too passionate about that.
Really?
Hey, your manual is.
I would say he's too passionate.
Longitudes and latitudes. Context.
It's because I've once been where you are. I was taught. We've been indoctrinated.
In first year, I was a flat earther.
And then?
Never.
It's not cool. I can't argue with everyone every time.
That's true.
Everyone adamantly says the Earth is round and it has to be. If the majority
why do you even question if the Earth is round?
It is none of
How
my
do those
business,
questions
by the way.
even come to your mind? You don't have other problems?
No, it's about it's about knowing what really is. It's about knowing your true purpose in life.
I'm just thinking you've never thought, is the Earth round or flat? No? Yeah?
You don't really
Never.
know.
I mean, it doesn't really concern me at the end of the day. I have
It's always about the truth.
So the conundrum we have as Toastmasters, as Government Club members, is how do you convey this
Message.
controversial opinions or theories in a way that doesn't offend or doesn't contravene other people?
I mean,
Do you do it?
I think the key to it is to make sure that your audience isn't reactive. I don't know if that makes sense.
Reactive in what sense?
Can you
So
audience?
I want you to take the example of just this group, as he's mentioned his quote unquote unpopular opinion. It's very easy to use wrong words that can easily flare up someone to build up a defensive wall. Whereas if you sort of conquer that wall before and get them into that state of mind where they think to themselves, okay, I'll give him a lesson first. And then I'm going
and then answer.
and then I'll try and poke holes into his argument. Yeah, I think that's a very key step in trying to articulate what you
But
consider.
you can't just approach people and say, I'm smarter than you, I know everything.
Because
The Earth is
unfortunately,
flat and you have to accept it. You
End
can't
of.
go. End of discussion.
Yes. Thank you. Next.
It's also how you should understand your audience.
Read the room.
What he said is right. You must know what kind of people am I talking to, how they receive my message, and find the right way of passing your message to the audience.
Perfect.
it's fantastic.
True,
But
the
think about-
understanding the audience part. I've recalled I had this discussion that was bound to happen in a church setting, and the topic was religion was the foreplay to colonialism. Now, this is a church setting where they expect you to have this kind of discussion. Imagine the father changed the topic to something else less controversial. Because let's face it, religion, colonialism, they kind of go hand in hand. And if you start this discussion in a church where people are very staunch Christians and they don't sway, they don't see fault in the system, it's gonna be crazy.
And church can be very polarizing.
Very.
You cannot go there with different opinions
and
present them anyhow. A very thin line.
Have you guys heard about the Adam and Eve story? Talking about church and religion.
Bible story.
Adam, it's the Bible story, everyone knows
Yes,
it.
yes.
Adam, Eve, an apple, a serpent.
I'm told it's not actually an apple.
Yeah, I heard that.
You heard that?
I've also heard a theory about
It's the
that.
nasty.
That's interesting.
So you mean the devil came to Eve and said,
That's the idea.
show everyone in the world.
That's the idea.
Hey.
It was sex. People, they had sex.
That is a controversial opinion.
It was the forbidden fruit.
But it makes sense. So you mean Cain is the son of the devil?
No, was it with a snake though, or just Adam and Eve? Okay, now this is.
We don't know. We don't know.
We know.
See, you're told that the snake gave Eve the apple.
What is the apple?
And then Eve said,
What is the apple?
Adam, I've been given this apple. It is.
I've never
It's
got it
good.
once.
So she gave Adam.
Oh my God, Eve.
After that, then they realized we are naked.
Hey, so maybe I've never thought of it as the snake gave Eve and then Eve gave
Adam.
what?
Yeah.
Crazy,
So I think
crazy stuff.
Mind blown.
Second controversial thing I'd like to say is
Adam, you have what controversial.
Mr.
women are
Controversy.
evil.
No. Pause.
They are.
Everyone is
Please
evil.
explain before.
Before we attack you right now.
Yes.
If it were not for Eve, ningekuwa garden of Eden.
Na ukimchukuza bwana.
Oh, but it's not true though, because you had a brain of your own. You should have said, no, I don't want no process. No.
Everyone is complicit in the original sin.
Women complain and say, oh, you led me on, but you followed. So you're saying Adam followed.
Yep. Dumb.
If women are evil, then men are dumb.
Yeah.
According to that logic. But on that context only, not any other place.
But everyone has the potential of being evil and being nice.
Arum has given us
It's
at
not
least 3
limited.
controversial topics.
He's a very controversial man.
Person.
You should just keep
I like
on
you.
doing it.
You are the right person for this
Legit.
episode.
It's all about questioning things. You don't just conform.
Conform to
So it's about knowing yourself and understanding what you really want.
and asking the right questions.
And asking the right questions.
Not asking just questions,
Yes,
the right ones.
question.
Raymond, do you have any controversial?
Controversial opinions. Not really, because as much as my opinions can trigger a certain demographic of people,
To do certain things.
generally the demographic of people that are getting triggered tend to be the minority. So it's not really an unpopular opinion.
It is just an opinion of your own that has
It's
the
just a
potential-
contrary opinion.
A contrary, by the
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
Speaking of unpopular opinions, we are going to run through a list of polarizing opinions that separate people into two. These are the things that people do not seem to agree upon. The first one I'm going to say is memes. BBI is trash. No, actually.
What is BBI?
Ew, yeah.
What is that ghetto
Yeah,
stuff?
the ghetto. We're speaking about the first person is Elsa Majimbo.
Oh, the great
And
mama.
then the great mama, the
I just
comedian.
love her. God, Mimi Mungu
First of all-
Elsa. Please.
First of all, right here, right now, do you find her funny?
No, but her God is
Do you find her funny, Arum? You won't be cancelled. You don't have a platform.
Honestly, I don't.
Me neither.
Me, I want to find her funny.
I tried.
I want.
After giving her a
But
chance.
my opinion about her comedy is besides the point. It doesn't affect her in any way. It doesn't affect me in any way. So I stay away.
She's winning.
But for some reason on KOT, people do not agree.
I think when you're famous, people just like you.
Oh, it's the controversy that makes her famous.
Yeah. What
Hey,
once-
our girl is winning.
Yeah.
She is.
She went to the Met.
Like, this
And then the
mama.
Met.
Gala,
She
bro.
got like a
She was
personalized
at my
package
gala,
from
bro. Hey, man.
what is
Just
that?
Ivy. From
No,
what country?
it's I don't know, Beyonce or Rihanna. Someone.
Oh, Ivy Park. Ivy
Yeah,
Park.
Ivy Park.
At a Fenty.
Like, this mama is winning and she's not even.
And you are here discussing if she's funny or not.
So she is funny.
She's funny. Me,
She has a
if her
character.
comedy has gotten her to the Met.
But
you think?
Najua, I also don't find Rono funny.
Rono is
Oh, no, I know
funny.
she's
I also
not.
don't find her funny.
I feel like she tries too hard.
Rono is funny.
But isn't comedic taste relative?
Comedy is relative. Perfect to someone like that.
Who's your favorite comedian?
My favorite comedian is one known as
locally.
No McDonald. He died recently. God rest his soul. Locally is Mamito.
Mamito Nipe.
I love Mamito.
Yeah, Mamito is good.
I love Mamito. I love cartoon comedian. I love Crazy Ken. But you should visit his hotel. He has a restaurant,
Instant delicacies.
The cutest place. Instagrammable. You can pick a picture.
Juja people. Take your mama's.
Ask me Juja people by the way.
So
Mamito, Crazy Ken, and cartoon. On any effect.
I love Trevor Noah. Who loves Trevor Noah? Am I the only one?
I wouldn't say I love the man.
Oh my god, I'm obsessed with Trevor
That's
Noah.
a bit fruity.
Especially after I read his book.
You read his good Born This Way?
Yeah,
I'm
crying. I really like how it's not just comedy. There's more to his comedy than just making you laugh. There's content in his comedy.
I love a comedian who is not afraid to challenge in
And
controversy.
his way of conducting interviews in the Daily Show, oh my god, I want to be him. You say like this controversial topics, like there was this mama who was on his cast about Black Lives Matter. And she was against the Black... I don't remember her name. And she was against the Black Lives Matter movement. And Trevor Noah kept his cool the entire time. I was fuming on his behalf because it was just not making sense. I wish I had that level of, I don't know what it is that Trevor Noah has, but
it's cool.
Very calm, he uses the comedy to diffuse
Another
that
comedian
tension.
is Dave Chappelle.
Oh yeah,
Dave Chappelle is polarizing as hell.
That is true.
His opinions about the LGBTQ are very
that end of the spectrum.
They have
What's
What does he say?
What's his take on it?
I can't try to articulate the way he does it. Maybe you go and listen to him, but
Generally
You just
Generally
try
speaking,
to not get cancelled.
he treads on the line. He walks on the line, and sometimes he falls on the other side. Sometimes he makes sense, and sometimes
Just
Arum.
Completely off.
What's your opinion
On Dave Chappelle?
No,
I think
LGBT.
not on Chappelle.
the LGBT.
Yes.
The LGBT is a very polarizing subject, but it's another.
Disclaimer.
Should I have an opinion on the LGBT? Does my opinion on someone else's sexuality matter?
I think that's a good question. That's a good question.
What if it's your own son or your own daughter?
Still someone else.
That is someone else.
Not really.
They
I have no
autonomy.
say. They have autonomy over their body and
Yeah.
But
So
Past the age
you
of-
were just
But
their parent.
as a parent or as a guardian, my responsibility will be to guide them in a way that they don't get hurt. Sexuality, besides the point, their safety is first.
I seem to hold a contrary.
Contrary opinion, shoot, yeah.
For the same reason, people call me a man of controversies.
Yes.
Exactly, we have established that.
Just so you know.
I am a religious man.
You?
A religious man.
Which religion do you subscribe to?
I'm a Christian and I'm a Catholic.
Oh, the rosary. You have a rosary?
Yes, I do have one.
Good old
Okay,
days.
okay. My point is, I think God, with all His mightiness and wisdom, made man and woman. Woman was for man.
For man, yeah.
Woman was meant for man. I don't think God would allow man to live with man.
But who are you to speak on behalf of God?
I'm just saying, I don't think.
Where do you find the courage?
That is my opinion.
No, I also have an opinion.
That is polarizing, yeah?
I think
Mawia?
the same God made love. And it does not discriminate who I love. At the end of the day, it's love. And if I love this person and I hurt no one, I think it doesn't.
You think it's
make
genetic?
sense.
So,
No, I say it's okay to love
So
anyone.
Arum-
If you go with the God concept.
Arum and Lani,
Love is not limited.
you think that the LGBT sexuality is...
For
if
me,
someone is
sexuality-
not a Christian, does it apply to them? The law?
Yeah, the law.
If they are not a
Difficult
Christian,
question.
if they step out of the...
If they're not Christians, they are not really here. But
So
then
they can
if
end
that's
up-
my child or my friend, I will give you my opinion because I think sexuality is a choice. That's my
Actually,
opinion. It is. So
that's your opinion.
if a man decides to love a man, then that's a wrong choice. But if a man decides
According to you,
According to
it's a wrong choice.
according to me, that's the wrong choice.
Yeah.
The opinions on this podcast...
Not reflect.
The opinions
his
of
opinions
Arum do not reflect
us.
the opinions of the Gavel podcast.
Yeah.
Just putting it of
Yeah, I think we should make the right choices.
The right choices, yeah.
And my right choice is not necessarily right.
Your right choices. Right is very relative. What about you, Raymond, on the LGBTQ?
I don't think I need to have an opinion.
Yeah, my exact sentiment.
And as much as I would also say that I'm somewhat Christian, although to be fair, I'm a bit more Judaistic than I am Christian. I would say that God does not need me to defend him. So if this God is real, he does not need me to defend him.
Okay, perfect.
And
Here we are.
it's not really my decision to make as to whether, again, it's right or wrong. I think, as he said, you have your choice. It just so happens that my choice tends to be of a heterosexual nature.
Right.
So, yeah.
But it's a wrong choice.
No, he's
How
just
is it? How is it? How is it?
He's heterosexual.
Wrong choice if it's hetero.
I'm
He said, "Bro, find a man." Okay, that should be said the point. The next polarizing opinion, back to Kenya. And Yokibe. Yokibe and Amerix same what's happening.
Nachoka bana.
But I think there are some people
I think
in
the
this
one
space.
thing, the one thing I
Yeah.
do hate is that I can't avoid them. So I don't follow these people on social media
But
on
you
any platform. But for whatever reason, I just keep seeing them, and it's frustrating because
I
I'm like,
hate them so
you won't be shocked.
content.
Listen, you won't be shocked to find out that Yokibe is a very nice person. I think these people bank on controversy to sell themselves.
That's my point. It's all about the money. In as much as,
Absolutely.
yeah, in as much as you're
It's the
hating on
money.
them, they're making their own money.
But I know they have a fan base and the people like subscribe to
That's the
their
problem
videos.
now.
I wouldn't say I hate him though. Like I'm genuinely trying to be indifferent. Like as you
Besides the
said,
point,
you've got your opinions, you're airing them out there, you're making your money and whatnot. I'm just trying to mind my own business, man.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
And it's like, he's still
then
here.
to your face.
I go here, he's still here. And it's like, yo, come on, man.
He's always there.
He's always there. He's always lurking.
But
Very
I've not been seeing
opinionated.
him nowadays. I think I'm following the right people. My Twitter, you are
My contact,
My
WhatsApp
contact,
there,
WhatsApp.
I'm muting you people. I don't like the things I'm saying. It's not. Is it on Saturday? Saturday, the Amerix one.
Amerix is Masculinity Saturday.
Yes, on
I
Saturday.
think
I
Amerix
mute
is
them.
popular because I think there's a problem with the definition of the scope of masculinity in today's world.
Oh.
The conversations
By
around
the
masculinity
way,
and femininity are very
Actually,
bland, so he's taking advantage of that
true.
gap.
That's a polarizing topic in itself.
Masculinity.
The concept
It's
of
not that
masculinity.
he's right, it's just that he's talking about it. He's
Yeah.
sparking conversation.
Not
That's why he's
like there's this discussion where people are like, why is it all the time the culture this, culture that? And then we were like,
So
it's
suddenly-
okay for us to talk about us. You go ahead and talk,
and talk
about,
about
you.
it. So
And
someone
then
comes forward and speaks about men
whatever he
to
has to
men,
say, as long as it's masculinity.
in a
people are fine with it.
male-dominated culture. So that's how it's popular.
Oh, man.
But it's polarizing still. The next polarizing.
Before we continue,
Before,
though,
yeah.
I do need to ask this because I think it's been well documented that there are not too many spaces for men to air out their opinions and such like. So, do you find an issue necessarily with men airing out their opinions, or do you find an issue with Amerix specifically airing out his
No.
opinions?
I have
Speak, you're the woman here.
neither. Like, it's okay for you to air out your issues. It's okay for Amerix to use his platform to air out his issues. My issue comes in with the feminist culture. My problem comes in when it becomes a male versus female perspective. It's no longer about empowering the boy child, empowering the girl child. Now it's like, you are evil, you are sitting
One
like,
has to win.
unanikanyagia. It's
But
like
that
a
is human
war
nature. We have to
of
draw the
male
line.
and
It's
female.
not really a discussion
Pitting one
anymore
gender
at
against the
that
other.
point.
That is what pisses me off. It's okay when you tell them eat healthy, don't do this, don't do that. This is how to be the good side of masculinity, not the toxic one. That is okay. But when you start saying when a woman does this, do that, do this to women to prove that you're a man. When you start pitting these genders against each other, that is where you lose me.
I think we have all the content of this topic. We are going to specifically have an episode about this one.
True.
To sort of summarize the topic of masculinity, femininity, men are trash, whatever, may I stand on this? Men are trash, people say that. Women are trash, people
True.
say that.
True.
My opinion is humans are trash. Everyone is evil, everyone has their faults, and we have to live with that. The next polarizing aspect of polarizing opinion or subject is astrology.
I'm a Cancer.
No comments.
Body build.
So, you have to have a comment in this podcast.
No.
You have to have a comment.
Unpopular opinion, I don't have to have a comment.
So,
Katla.
okay, let me ask you.
Katla.
Mawia, let's not say they have no comments. You have no comments.
I have no comments.
What's your star
on this
sign?
topic?
What's his
I
zodiac
don't
sign?
know.
When were you born?
The 28th of March. Oh shit, I wasn't supposed to.
28th of March. Someone Google. What star sign is that? A Pisces. That's typical Pisces behavior. Me, I'm a Cancer. Me, I can believe in astrology.
You do?
I've read and I think that my behavior, I was born on 22nd of July. That's the boundary between Cancer and Leo. And my personality is exactly as I'm told in the horoscopes.
Legit.
So is there a science behind it or is it just speculation?
Sometimes things just happen.
Is it a coincidence?
Okay, coincidence never exists. Everything happens for
Oh,
us.
yeah.
And in as much as you're saying, you feel like everything has been in line with your astronomical, what do you call it?
Star sign. When are you born, Arum?
Yeah.
I don't care.
But we care.
I
The podcast.
actually think there's a greater number of people whose signs and whose behavior don't go in line with their astronomical signs. Yeah. So I honestly don't believe in astrology. Yeah, because yes, you can take the stars, but then can you really read the stars?
What if someone comes and says, see, you're a Catholic, Arum?
Yes.
Someone comes and says, I don't believe in Catholicism.
It's okay if you don't believe.
It's okay.
Yeah,
It's all on you, man.
It's all on you.
Yeah.
What sign are you,
I'm a
Mawia?
Scorpio. My birthday is the
Scorpio.
28th of October, manifesting Diani.
Diani.
The process.
Yes.
Manifestation Orogi, that is
Manifesting. It's being sugar baby controversial.
Sugar baby.
Yes.
Hey man, you do you.
Live your best life.
Live your best life.
There are consequences for everything.
No, you don't speak on the consequences, speak on the choices.
It is an economic venture.
It is a...
Yes. You invest in assets.
Okay.
All right.
This is economics 101.
Another...
And you start to make
Speaking of
profits
economics and profits and everything, does money buy happiness? Can it buy happiness?
Yes.
It can.
Have you seen me with money?
Yes, it can.
Yeah.
Happiness.
Have you ever been broke?
Alcoholic.
And then you see an M-Pesa message.
It cures depression, legit.
Legit.
Like, it lessens your
It
body.
opens up the doors.
Honestly, money
The
solves
floodgates.
problems. They don't care.
I think it's different.
Me, I think money does not buy happiness, but it feels very good to afford the things you want.
And it
feels
makes life
very
less
nice.
miserable. Because poverty doesn't buy happiness as well.
Either way,
Yes,
we are not
give me
buying
money.
happiness, we are just living life.
I think rich people have a different opinion.
Rich
I
people.
would say the same.
Have you watched Squid Games?
Yes, I have.
Really?
The guy won all the money, and then at the end,
And then
he's still a sad guy. Lives.
He never even went to see his
Yeah,
daughter.
and then he questioned the whole.
You remember that guy who took the pebbles from his wife?
Imagine, and then eventually hung himself.
Hanged himself. So what's the point? Now the children are left suffering at home.
It's
But
crazy.
Hey, but that show is very... You should watch it.
Any day, anytime, give me money. There's no way I'm choosing poverty. There's no way I'm choosing not to afford something, and I have the option of choosing to afford it. Let me be miserable with a Gucci
money.
bag and Jimmy Choo's.
Chicken,
Yes. Not miserable and poor. I
Let me
choose
just
struggles,
say I hate
but
that whole dynamic of choose whether you'll be poor but happy.
yeah, I don't like that.
Or
I
rich
also
but
don't
sad.
Why can't you be
Why do those have to be the constant?
You may have the range to be rich and happy. I think I have the ability, I have the range.
Yeah.
Me give me $1 million and tell me be sad. You would
Jokes on you.
There's another one that has been brought forward by another polarizing,
Toastmaster.
has been brought by our favorite, Jerome.
I thought I
Jerome,
was
shut up!
I thought I was your favorite.
Miam.
This guy, he switches up on
Me, I don't belong to
No, I'm
anyone.
going to walk out.
typical
Someone
cancer
sorry.
behavior.
Typical cancer
I'm going to
behavior.
walk out.
Toxicity.
That is the door. Now, Jerome has said we talk about the dynamics of relationships. Who do you call babe?
Nairobi.
Who do you call babes with a Z? And who do you call babes?
And who's baby?
And who's baby?
And who's baby girl?
Let me tell you right now, if I call you babes, BBZ or babes Z,
What is BBZ?
you are my sister in Christ.
What is baby?
BBZ?
Babes.
Who are you calling these names?
My sister, my best friend, my best.
Legit, if we call, I don't know, if we call you babes.
But me,
if you're a guy,
even people, I mean, see, I don't call people babe.
okay, maybe there's
Or
some place
baby.
to you guys. I call my female friends.
I call
babes.
them sugar.
They call the girl named Sugar.
Sugar.
Sugar honey.
I'd go with baby girl.
Baby girl.
Baby girl,
I
baby
love
girl is
baby
one of
girl.
my favorites.
So what do you prefer being called? Mawia? Jaber. You have a thing for you. You have a thing for you, man.
Well, character development is okay. It's worth it though. It's worth it. They make it worth it.
No comments.
No comment on that. We have two new men here.
I legit
Character development. I don't know.
Character
Have you ever
development that is
felt
worth it.
like the stereotype is almost like a burden to you?
It's also a controversial opinion in itself.
But legit,
Tribal
been there, done that.
stereotypes.
This
The
is
low man
not
stereotype.
dated one.
Hey,
Been there, done that.
but being a Luo is that me, I've never lied that I'm a Luo to get into someone's part.
But
You've
then-
never lied.
That I'm a Luo. People think I'm Django all the time. So
I'm not.
I'm not a Django.
Oh, lie.
You know?
I also thought he was until he said
I didn't
last
know
podcast
you are a
he
Django.
wasn't.
No, I'm not.
You are a Django.
Yes, I am.
Oh.
What?
I love you, Lou, man.
You are a Django.
Hold
I
up.
have a soft spot for you.
Hold up. Hold up.
Yes.
What? Just say that again.
Django.
You did what?
Ask again.
Oh, he lied.
What did you do?
He's Lou to get into a
I like
lady's
that I'm
part.
going to give you someone's part.
I'm
And I'm not ashamed. I'm going to cut that part out of the podcast. Like
Ladies, beware.
I'm a liar.
Teacher ID.
Big up to all the low men. Big up, big up.
But
Yes,
talking
shout
about
out.
tribal cocoons, do you think tribalism will ever end in our country? It's
No.
a point of contention.
I think
It's a
it
point
will.
of controversy.
I don't think so.
I think it will. Do you know why?
What is the solution?
Do you know why? The solution is just don't talk in terms of each other lines. Miss Kijalo.
You do not know.
But it's pride in knowing.
It's fine. For me, it's the culture.
By the way, nowadays no one knows their language.
Yeah.
I do, and
You
I'm
do.
very
You
proud
speak.
of it. Yeah.
Say
very
hello
proud.
in Kikamba.
Muteta, Muyasem.
Look at the chairs. I'm like, is that a spell?
Juju.
Juju.
I think once we intermarry and just speak a common language, we can end tribalism.
But I don't want that to happen. I want the kids to be able to speak.
Me, I want our
together.
names to be tribal, but the language to dissipate.
Huh?
Language
They
is
don't-
beautiful. It's
Yeah.
very, but it's the point of tribalism. It's the
But-
like the road in which we used
I think
to base our tribal.
Having a tribe is
I
not
think-
bad. It's the tribalism part. And
I think that the beauty of language is that humans can come together. Humans can come together and agree upon certain concepts and provide a platform of effective communication.
But
between
look at us
themselves.
right now.
And so, no, that's calm.
Look at
That's
us.
calm. It's calm. But I think it's unfair to our ancestors who didn't make the choice to be placed in a position where we are in to this day to say that
But see,
their Nini needs to die. I'm
I am
not
with you
necessarily
100%.
saying that you need to pick every single thing from them culturally, because as societies, I think that as societies have developed over the years on this planet, whether it's flat or round,
regardless.
but there is no civilization that you can look at and say that they were the epitome, that they were perfect.
Perfect, yeah.
So I'm not in any way, shape or form saying that we should go back to those times, that we should do the exact practices that these people were doing. But at the same time, I think it's important to realize
Let us not
that
lose the language or the culture.
it's not the language's fault that we are polarizing. You get? It's not the fault of our words that we're coming up against each other.
It is our past. It is us.
It is us,
It's
not
Yeah,
our
as
language.
individuals, yeah.
But then
That's
Someone
fine.
once told me.
how
Someone
can you
told
change
me.
us? how can you change us? You can't really change us, but you can change the language.
The language.
If
the language is the tool of oppression or the tool for tribalism,
then cut the language. Yes, that's my point.
Because I think English is so, even if it was a tool for colonialism, do not quote me wrongly, it is a very beautiful black. Look at that. He is something, you are Kamba, he is low, easy, and you are talking very you are, I did not get it. You are low, I'm kissy, she is Kamba. We are speaking very well, we are articulating our thoughts. In a tool of colonialism, a tool of oppression.
But still, there's beauty in our culture.
In our culture.
That I feel is so unfair if it dies.
It's died. So it's an African dilemma.
Yeah. But I'd say to that exactly that why then does it have to be English if we are African?
English is the easiest. It's the easiest.
Is it the easiest, or has it been forced upon us?
Until you've had
if you think about it, is it the easiest, or has it just been forced upon us?
Until you think that
was forced, but
communicate.
until now, English I know is your first language.
No, it's not.
Oh, I was raised in front of a television.
No, Swahili is.
Swahili is your first language.
Mine was a blend of all
three.
Yeah.
Yours Swahili. So English you found it in school or in TV or in school? In school basically. Yeah. And now you think in English.
Because I've been conditioned to
think in
not
English.
Because I don't want to.
I love English. It's a beautiful language. I can articulate my thoughts and almost like a very huge demographic of people can understand me. But there's beauty in culture that I don't feel should die.
Yeah.
I don't feel we should all just become English
speakers.
people.
The dilemma of our continent, or the dilemma in the place we live in, is that we have like hundreds of languages. Like in Kenya, we have 42 languages.
Do they really have to be such a tool of oppression? We can change that.
Why use a language? But
language
now, you see now our generation, Gen Z, basically, now we're educated. We know that.
How many of us though?
All of us.
All of us.
No.
Gen Z is everyone I know who's 18 and above to 23.
I think the statistics beg to differ.
Oh, I speak for people who have gone to uni.
I think the statistics.
Basically.
Not even people in uni. There are people in uni but still believe some type of way. Like I have a friend who says they cannot date or marry a Kikuyu lady because of some ideologies behind the Kikuyu tribe. They cannot date the Kisii because of 1, 2, 3. And they are Gen Z. These are people who have been to campus, they have TV, they have watched Squid games, they have
they have Netflix.
Yes, but they still think some type of way.
Just out of curiosity, if in general about 30-20% of students every year who partake in the SE exams are the ones who come to uni, what about the 80%? Are they not the majority?
Yep.
But someone once told me that people in Nairobi think that they're the only Kenyans.
So in that case, would it not?
That's true. People don't think they're the only Kenyans. And the opinions on Twitter are the opinions of everyone in Kenya. There's someone in Malaga who does not know what Twitter is.
So would it not?
And they have a vote.
Yeah?
They can vote. They can choose a leader.
Yeah. Would it not be factual then to say that, contrary to popular opinion, majority of Kenyans are not as educated as you think
they are?
True.
So the problem is education, is awareness.
I don't think it's the problem, and I think that's one of the things
it's a stew of problems.
I tend to again, perhaps it's an unpopular opinion, but I tend to look at with regards to arguing or having discussions. There doesn't have to be a single main problem.
Yeah, that could be one.
So the solution is
there is a conversation solution.
Yeah.
Conversation.
I wouldn't say there is the solution.
It's a path to a solution.
Yeah.
We need to talk about this.
I don't think there's one
magic and
pill.
Tell people, go tell at least reach a wider demographic to just people in Nairobi.
Exactly.
I don't think there's a magic pill.
Yeah. It's gonna take time.
It's complex.
I don't think so.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. You see, there you have talked about tribalism. It's very polarizing. Everyone has an opinion on tribal.
Because I think we can all agree that we don't like to see people get hurt. We don't like to see
everyone. That's a human trait. We want to be safe. We want to be.
I just don't understand why we have to limit that nature of caring into one language. Personally.
We have. It has been a journey today. We started with Arum saying the earth is flat, that the forbidden fruit was. Raymond talked about.
I don't think I mentioned an unpopular opinion. I
talked about cancel culture.
Yeah.
I remember talking about comedians.
Yeah.
You said your favorite comedian is Mawia?
Trevor Noah. I know he's single. I'm out here.
Mamita. I love him. Mamita is funny. And you, Raymond?
I don't watch contemporary comedy.
What do you watch?
You don't watch comedy?
No. I said I don't watch contemporary comedy.
What type?
I get my comedy from anime. I get all my entertainment from anime.
Why are you a difficult man?
Sorry?
Why are you a difficult man? Why are you?
I have to question everything, including why people like the things they like.
Watch contemporary comedy. Just
I'm different. I'm
Contemporary comedy.
It's not my cup of tea.
I thought I was the only one from the contemporary town.
Yeah, I had it, but I don't follow.
contemporary comedy.
It's Although if I would say I have an unpopular opinion, generally women, if you're below the height of 6 feet, please don't say that you're tall. I hate that. I genuinely listen. If you have the numbers 5 and below in your height, please, you are not tall. You are not. Yeah.
Okay, we have had fun. Do it like, okay, you can find us on Instagram at jquatgavel, on Twitter at jquatgavel, on SoundCloud, Anchor, Spotify and YouTube. You'll find us at JQuat Gavel Podcast, sitting very pretty, waiting for you to press play and listen.
We appreciate all the clicks,
all the clicks.
Likes.
Hey, we have, I've tallied we have like 400 cumulatively.
Oh my God, we love you.
Cumulatively in SoundCloud. Hey, we are moving.
We're trying.
We are trying.
We're getting there.
Episode 2. People do that. But we have a platform.
We thank you so very much.
Asanteni for listening. Keep on keeping on.
Being our family fan base.
We'll see you in the next one and the next one after that.
I keep telling you we won't see them, bro.
Oh, we will make contact. Come on, man. See, there was a camera there.
We'll see you one day.
I will see, yeah.
So, on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Bye.